What if the future of our world is built on plastic and bugs? The very trash with which we've choked our oceans, giving rise to strange life forms, monsters and animals we never meant to create. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch has been a symbol of our unchecked plastic pollution for decades, stretching across thousands of square miles. This floating wasteland is a threat to our livelihood. But it is no longer just an environmental disaster. It's a thriving ecosystem, for better or worse. In this video, we'll take a ride through a bizarre and unsettling world, where our trash is turning into new ecosystems and new creatures being unleashed. We'll explore the world of genetically modified mosquitoes, GPS-enabled insects, and the groundbreaking discovery of the self-healing concrete that could revolutionize how we build. Humans have always had a reputation for leaving a trail of destruction, extending far beyond where they were created. A popular example is how we've littered our environment, waterways, beaches, and so on, with all forms of materials. These discarded items are the very foundation of unusual and unplanned ecosystems. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is one of such. It's estimated to kill up to 100,000 marine animals and 1 million seabirds every year. Having welcomed different materials over the years, from plastic bottles to fishing gear, it has transformed into more than a toxic soup. The floating trash is now a home. In a bizarre twist, animals that once thrived on shores are now living on the patch, with our trash serving as the transport and building blocks for the new ecosystem. A team of scientists examined items from the patch and discovered that barnacles and bryozoans have made the items their home. In a study published in 2023, they revealed that coastal species that have enjoyed the shorelines for generations are colonizing the plastic debris in the ocean. Guess they're just going with the flow. Literally. As creatures attached to plastic waste, they travel long miles and eventually settle on the garbage patch. Years ago, it was nothing but a barren wasteland of plastic, but it has become a new, floating kingdom of crabs and barnacles. It's a booming real estate industry down there. But what's next? A floating city of trash? But this new migration could spell a much bigger disaster than it has in years. Surely the diverse nature of the chemicals present and how harmful they could be to marine life is not in doubt. Think of what happened to the dog-whelk snail, where on exposure to a harmful chemical known as tributylin, or TBT, the females developed male sex organs and were unable to reproduce. What if this unnatural migration leads to something worse? There is also the risk of spreading invasive populations to fragile marine environments, disrupting ecosystems, and wiping out native species. Unless something is done soon, the creation of this new ecosystem far from the shore could have major implications for various species, including humans. Our plastic waste isn't just choking the ocean, it's giving birth to entire ecosystems. These floating garbage patches are now islands of life, featuring new habitats that marine organisms are colonizing in the most unexpected ways. Fishing nets, bottles, and packaging material waste have a hard, non-biodegradable surface that mimics a lot of natural habitats, especially when they're bound to form an expanse twice the size of Texas. Helped by the ability to last for decades and centuries, these surfaces allow creatures to not only attach but also breed and build new floating communities. The plastosphere, as it is now known, has extended invites to coastal species, and they sure are not turning down their gracious host. I mean, who would say no to free real estate? From crabs, barnacles, and sea anemones to algae and other microorganisms, they're hitching a ride to the new ecosystem with the promise of a better view of the ocean. In truth, they may just want a change of environment, but hiding in the unknown of these ecosystems is a chilling question, begging to be answered. Could our plastic waste be creating conditions for harmful and resilient organisms to emerge and thrive? Could this give rise to the next big global catastrophe? A world where marine animals are threatened, leading to an imbalance to the world we've enjoyed so far because of the plastic we couldn't get rid of? Soon, we might see a Travelocity ad for luxury stays on the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. But it's not just marine life. Insects, too, are joining the party. They're finding a new realm of conducive ecosystems and adapting to newer lifestyles. But the impact might be even more alarming. In other creepy news, scientists have equipped dragonflies with tiny GPS backpacks. Yes, you heard that right. Backpacks on bugs. But no, they're not getting them ready for Mission Impossible. In a daring research termed Dragonfly, scientists from the R&D organization, Draper, and their counterparts from the Howard Hughes Medical Institute are using insects as drones. They equip dragonflies with backpacks containing GPS trackers, allowing them to monitor the movement of the insects. But something more sinister is at play here. The dragonflies are not allowed to go about their lives as they would. Instead, they can be controlled to move in certain directions, thanks to the GPS connecting with their nervous systems and allowing the stimulation of flight-specific nerves. The backpacks are powered by solar panels to keep them going all day. Who knew dragonflies would one day have better battery life than our smartphones? The possibilities are basically limitless with these miniature drones, and they can solve so many challenges. Think of indoors, tiny places and crowded environments where tiny and less apparent drones may be needed. But what if these dragonflies get into the wrong hands and are tasked with carrying illegal substances or harmful objects? For now, the scientists have said these tiny trackers help them understand how dragonflies travel thousands of miles. This was also one of the reasons they picked dragonflies for the experiment. They're excellent flyers with evolved wings that help them to fly fast, glide, hover, and fly backward. They are the Ferraris of the insect world. Then, this extraordinary experiment raises questions like, what if we're one step closer to bug surveillance? What about bugs with microphones and using them to access exclusive information? If they can have trackers on bugs, what more might they have? Forget drone deliveries. Your next pizza could be delivered by GPS dragonflies. Recent movies like Hunger Games have depicted the use of the birds for evil plans. Perhaps it's closer to reality than we think, only with less noticeable creatures like dragonflies. Could this inspire the next generation of tiny flying robots? Well, you know what to do the next time a bug stares at you. Scientists are not stopping with dragonflies. They're also playing God with mosquitoes, releasing genetically modified ones to reduce populations that spread deadly diseases. Despite their ecological benefits, mosquitoes have a reputation for being disease vectors. The hatred of these insects is quite justified, with their tendency to spread malaria, dengue fever, and Zika virus, among other diseases. It's no wonder that scientists are genetically engineering variants to combat their population. Scientists have released over 750 million modified mosquitoes into Florida in an attempt to stop the spread of disease-causing Aedes aegypti mosquitoes. The new species have been altered to produce female offspring that do not make it past the larval stage, reducing their population in the process. Finally, a way to get back at those bloodsuckers. If only we could genetically modify them to stay away from barbecues. But then, swarms of lab-created mosquitoes flying around, programmed to wipe out their own species, may not be as harmless as you think. What if the experiment yields an unwanted result? What if this experiment encourages the mosquitoes to build resistance that creates new diseases or brings back stronger forms of the old ones? There's no doubt the project has some upsides. Similar methods have already been adopted in Brazil and Djibouti, among others. It could replace spraying harmful insecticides and other methods of fighting insects, revolutionizing pest control in disease-prone areas. Okay, a move away from the creepy end now and onto something mind-blowing: self-healing concrete. This new technology, developed by Dutch scientists, introduces limestone-producing bacteria like Bacillus pseudofirmis or Sporosarcina pasteurii, into concrete, allowing the repairs of cracks by producing limestone when exposed to water. Whenever there's a crack, it exposes the organisms to air and moisture, helping them to break down calcium lactate into a limestone ingredient known as calcite and filling up the crack. This could revolutionize infrastructure. Imagine roads and bridges that can heal themselves over time. That means no more potholes, no more crumbling buildings. The future might actually build itself. Soon, the real question won't be, did the road crack? But has it healed itself yet? It's like the concrete equivalent of Wolverine. What do you think? Are we headed towards a future of amazing innovation and more helpful creatures, or one disturbing reality? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you for watching.